Our unit is called My World, Bebop Mania. This unit is designed under the Digital Technologies curriculum for Foundation Year, found on Akara. The unit is also designed for prep students to study and engage with Bebots, and the unit is also aligned with other curriculum areas. Our unit features 3 different lessons, the first being the introduction of navigation and the creation of a community map. The second is the exploration of Bebots, and the final lesson, which includes the assessment, is where the students will respond to a problem. Lesson 1 introduces the students to navigation. This aligns with the mathematics curriculum. The students will be required to use language such as left, right, forward, and backwards. This language is specific to Bebots and will give the students a basic understanding of the coding language. The next part of the lesson focuses on the creation of a community map. This aligns with the HAS curriculum, and this map will be used in Lesson 3. A whole class discussion will be held to discuss what should feature on the map, and also how there could be different paths to take to get to the same destination. Lesson 2 begins with the students given the opportunity to play and explore with the Bebots. For students, this is a fantastic opportunity to collaborate with their group and do some discovery learning. A class discussion at the end will allow the groups to share their discoveries. The teacher will then give an explicit lesson on how to use the buttons. This will ensure any misconceptions have been eliminated and all students have a correct understanding of how the Bebots operate. In groups, the students will then create a path for the Bebots to follow using movement arrows. The final lesson is where the students will be given a problem, and in groups of 3, students have to solve the task. This lesson serves as the assessment task for their Digital Technologies unit. The task is directing Mr. Bebot to school in the morning and afternoon. They will have to work in groups to design 2 paths he could travel and include a stop at the shops in the afternoon. This lesson requires the students to use computational thinking to break down the problem into 2 parts, morning and afternoon. This is a video that shows Bebot travelling from one location to the grocery store. This unit has many connections to other key learning areas, some of which include maths, where the students will investigate navigation and use navigational language such as left, right, forwards, and backwards. This is aligned with the describe position and movement content descriptor from Akara. HAS, under the geography strand of the curriculum, the representation of the location of places on simple maps. This is evident when the students create a community map for their Bebots to travel on in their assessment task. Health and physical education. Students will be walking around, following instructions and performing movement tasks. This has embedded links to the curriculum descriptor of practice fundamental movement skills and movement sequences using different body parts. English. The students will be presenting their discovery to the class using directional language. This specifically aligns with deliver short oral presentations to peers content descriptor from Akara. And finally, science, where students will discuss how their Bebot functions, which links to the share observation and ideas descriptor. As with any ICT use, it's important for students to know how to use the technology safe and ethically. Bebots are fantastic for this, especially in the early years, because they are free from unsafe online interactions with strangers, easy to use for the prep students, not harmful, for example, very little exposure to electricity, radiation, and blue light, and they're a good communication tool for students. Coding is a skill that, if taught in the early years, can have significant impact on ICT use in the later stages of student schooling. Students are able to follow the simple coding process to reach success. This process is called the coding cycle approach. It follows the code, test, and change process. As seen in the diagram, students create the Bebot's code and then test the code on the Bebot. If the Bebot followed the desired path, then they have achieved success. If the code wasn't correct, then they would change the code and repeat the process. There are many ways Bebots help students with computational thinking. They include understanding what algorithms are and how they are implemented as programs on digital devices, how programs are executed following precise and clear instructions, creating and debugging simple programs, and finally using logical reasoning to predict the behavior of simple programs. This unit is a fantastic way to introduce ICT, coding, and computational thinking to students in the early years, without exposing them to any of the great risks of the online world. Bebots are a low-risk activity, which are easy to use and provide a great hands-on collaborative learning opportunity for all students.